Welcome to Sprint 2 of Dogfight. This sprint, our primary focus was getting our board into its final functional state. We worked on numerous board designs, squares, hexagons, spots, splodges, you name it, and we've tried it in a playtest. During our Mediatonic visit in Sprint 1, they encouraged us to look towards the game Small World for board design inspiration. It was very visually engaging and aligned with our plans to have a dog-themed world as the board design. Our current board was still an early prototype, visually lackluster, as we didn't want to get attached to a design and then need to change it because of mechanics, and the small spaces made it very difficult during playtesting to see who was on which spot. Combining the boards together, we made this calamity. We loved the concept of shapely splodges, but even after tweaking, the spacing of each blob segment was confusing to the players during testing. There was also the issue of asymmetry, meaning certain players had an advantage, like reaching dig sites quicker or shorter routes to their opponent's doghouse. Matt decided to go away and experiment further with the board, bringing in additional ideas of placemats and win conditions we had thought about in the past. He designed a hexagon board with a tennis ball in the centre that the players would have to retrieve and bring back to their doghouse. Although it was very fun to play, the board didn't allow for much visual design or variety, and the idea strayed very far from the existing core gameplay we had. There were also some issues with players camping the centre point, waiting for the ball to return, or how if two players were engaged, the third player was often unstoppable. One of our peers suggested that we revert back to our old board and finalise the design before moving on any further with mechanics. By combining our original map with the blobular horror, we finally reached our official board design. We playtested with the paper mock-up and fixed a few balance errors, ironing out advantages and ensuring equal spaces between opponents, before going ahead and starting the digital design, but everything else had finally worked out. With the board complete, we could move on to our next vital change, card rewording. Frequent playtest feedback was that players were struggling to understand what some cards meant and when they could be used during gameplay. Additionally, with our board changes, some cards weren't applicable at all anymore. We took another look over our card deck and reworded the ones that we found a bit too vague or interpretable, ready for another round of testing. An exciting connection we made this sprint was with Tyler from Panda Games, a tabletop manufacturer interested in supporting us by helping produce a prototype of our game that we could bring to expos. Tyler talked us through all the preparations, measurements and possible board pieces that we could ask for. He also let us know that Panda Games would be at UK Expo for playtesting, as if we needed more motivation. So, we agreed to put together a specification sheet of all the pieces we'd need, with the measurements and number of pieces ready to set up for a prototype. This sprint, we also had a surprise opportunity, a social media takeover of the Canterbury Christchurch University Instagram and Twitter accounts for the week. This ranged from memes involving artwork of our dogs to devlog videos that shared a day in the life of what we do at uni whilst working on the game.
Oh my goodness, you alright?
Today, I wanted to eat a croissant. So I went to a place that sells croissant. And I bought a croissant.
We gladly took this opportunity, as it gave us a really fun and engaging way to promote our game out to a wider audience and build some hype. During our next sprint, we are planning to set up preparations for the upcoming expos, Insomnia and the UK Games Expo. Alongside our peers, it feels like we've had dozens of meetings trying to crunch costs and sort out our best shot at applications for the Career Development Fund. We collectively organised a meeting with the CDF, a support letter from our lecturer for the panel, a costing sheet for accommodation and travel, hotel prices, collection and drop-off for a minibus, route planning, the driver, training on a cry-cut machine to create merch and business cards, and not to mention the specification sheet. Woof, what a sprint.